Joyce,
Tell me when to go.
Tell me when to go.
Go, dumb. I need some powder. Powder me up.
We don't have budget for that.
We got the budget for that.
You ain't got nothing in that bag. Trick. Well, I feel like I'm getting trapped. Don't cock your leg up over here. Ew.
Hey, pass the peas
Like we used to do. Ow! Okay, ready, cool. 5, 4.
Is it recording? It
Yes,
is.
recording.
1.
Yo, what up, what up, what up? I'm Jay Will,
And I'm Jay Ward.
and you with another episode with the boys. So, we have a special guest. She got the giggles right now. Go ahead and introduce
What
yourself.
was that?
Oh, I'm Dominique.
Speak up so the mic can pick you up. There you go.
They already heard me.
All right,
And
good.
if you don't know now, you know. Oh.
Baby! Oh, baby, oh. So today's segment, we're going to be discussing actually basketball, which is our favorite sport. And Dominique has a son that's become very successful. So we're going to talk about the ups and downs that it takes for a ball player. Her being an ex-ball player, we want to actually get her insight on her delivery, her expectations, her communication with raising a son who actually loves the sport of basketball. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about it.
So I have a newly 15-year-old that is
Happy birthday.
6'2.5". Let him tell you he is 6'5". Prays for inches every night.
He about to be 6'5".
He definitely is, definitely. So he played football first, went to basketball, left basketball, went back to football, and now I can't get him to do anything else. So he is a freshman at Holly Riverside.
Riverside
Shout
Poly.
out, let's go.
Riverside Poly.
Riverside Poly.
Call it Riverside.
Poly of Riverside.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
Is it my story or your guys's? All right, cool. Carry on. So, you know, playing sports was really tough in the beginning with criticism because I definitely wanted to get on the court a lot of times and, you know, do what I was asking him to do. But there was a lot of yelling and a lot of like intense conversations that he really didn't understand in the beginning because I was so passionate. But I had to later on learn that he definitely knew what he was doing. He worked hard. He understood, you know, how to get it done. And I just needed to be a fan and not always, you know, criticizing or coming up with my ideas of what he should be doing. So we're now at a great space of understanding. I ask him if he wants my feedback, and if he doesn't, I respect it. So, you know, it's made our relationship a lot better. In the beginning, we were definitely hitting heads, and he understood and he saw the results of what I was saying, but it was, he didn't want to hear it all the time. So I had to pick my time better and all of that. So
When you do your feedback, when you give your feedback of him or your criticism, how do you do it? How do you deliver it?
now I deliver it by asking him. So I'll say, hey, do you want? First, I give him a compliment. You know, I learned something from one of the camps that we went to, and it was on Mother's Day, and it was like giving shout outs to moms, and you know, and it really taught us a lot as parents to first say, I just enjoyed watching you play. And then, you know, from there, it kind of breaks them down. It's like, okay, you know, we're in a good space. Then it's kind of like, is there something I can share with you? And it was just something, you know, you noticed, or you didn't want to yell out and embarrass them or whatever. So now it's more like, hey, are you ready to hear what I have to say? Are you calm enough, or, you know, have your adrenaline come down from either the win, the loss, or just not playing that well or playing amazing for me to tell you something? So it's all with, you know, approval.
And what if he says, no, I don't want to hear anything, Mom?
He would definitely get, I understand. And, you know, I respect him, and I understand that he'll come back around. So in that moment, you know, I completely respect him, and we will either change the subject or let him just kind of be in his moment.
Okay, good. And then, what position is he playing?
So there isn't a position he can't play, but he's a combo guard at this point. He's big shooter.
We need first and last names so people go watch him.
Aaron Glass, number 21.
Aaron Glass, number 21.
We call him Ace.
You call him Ace.
Yes.
You know his
Instagram.
Yeah.
His Instagram is AceGlass21.
AceGlass21 is gonna be on the screen if y'all want to go check him out.
Absolutely, and you can see some highlights and just see. I mean, he's just a great kid, so you'll be able to really get a little bit more idea of who we're speaking about.
I've seen his highlights. I've seen him play. His style of play is like really all around, and he has great potential. He's not even gonna He's not even like scratching the surface right now.
Right.
And he's still doing great things. You say freshman, right?
Yes.
Freshman. So when he's like junior, senior, he's going to be like in the papers and on the internet. I already know that.
Sure hope so. Yeah.
He's going to be.
That's the plan.
He's going to be.
Absolutely.
You got to speak things to existence. I believe that.
But I also don't want the pressure of him, you know, already seeing that. I want him to be in his moment. And
it's going to be pressure. Because I think now kids now they have the most pressure than anybody.
Jay Ward.
Now.
He came home the other day from school, and I was sharing this a little bit with you. Is he was in the verge of tears because they did these like 3-on-3s, and he was like, they're doing cuts, and they picked their seniors, you know, to play their ball game because they need exposure, and they need. So the pressure of levels is really what you get to see at this point. AAU is different. Everybody's kind of just doing the same thing. Yeah. But when you're talking about there's a senior and you're a freshman. And it's so crazy because his heart's so big that he's like, hey, there's one kid that's not signed yet. Like, if I don't get a lot of playing time, but he does, I'm cool with that. But I'm like, no, kid, like, everybody kind of has to do their own thing. So, you know, he's trying to balance it and learn. And right now they're doing cuts. They picked, you know, 12 to 15 potential varsity, and he's a part of that.
Ooh.
Yeah, so, but you know, they're doing their cuts. They're like, are you showing up for 0 period at 6 a.m. on time? Are you taking it serious when I'm not around? What's your integrity? You know, like, are you working when I'm not watching? Yeah. So, you know, I mean, he was on the verge of tears when he walked into, like, getting into the car, and I'm like, what happened? I want to talk about it. I didn't play that good. I'm not 6'8". I can't be a good, like, I can't not be a good shooter. So he's, you know, without any pressure from me.
But he knows that.
Yeah, he does. He can identify that.
The fact that he knows that I'm not 6'8", so I have to be a good shooter.
Yes.
He knows that if you're a small guard, then you need guard attributes to do it. Because there's some guards that's like, dang, I'm not 6'8". What else can I do?
Right.
He knows, like, okay, I got to be a good shooter.
Absolutely.
Period. And that's. Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful that he identified it on his own. And actually, after that day, he was like, please take me to the park. I need to shoot around. Like, he just had to reassure himself that he can do it. It was just a rough day. But, you know, those rough days can be the day you get cut. Can be. You don't know who's watching. So he's already kind of, you know, putting that pressure on himself, which is healthy pressure. Because he knows he's supported and loved. If he decided basketball wasn't it, he would still be an amazing kid, you know. So it's crazy to watch. Again, he does his own yoga, he does his own stretching in his room on his own. So, you know, this is something he really truly wants. So it's beautiful to watch. So I have a question for you guys.
Nope.
We didn't ask you to give us a question.
Yeah, this
so I have a question for you guys.
This ain't your show.
So if your son or daughter, soon to be, one day, decides they want to play, how would be your feedback?
Go with him first because he has.
Okay.
He has.
So you're a dad coach.
He's a basketball dad coach.
Mine's different.
Why is it different?
Because I'm direct. So I tell kids.
But what if she says she doesn't want that feedback today? Do you respect it and you back off, or do you give it anyway?
Hard question to answer because it's never happened.
Okay. Well, today she does it.
I'm like, all right, whatever.
Would you be offended? You sound offended.
Yeah, I would be.
I can hear it in your tone.
I'm like, all right, whatever.
Whatever, I don't care.
Because see, here's my thing when it comes to, you know, this sport and all sports really, but this is the one I love and I'm familiar with. When you see a kid, and all kids have various levels of talent, right? But what if a kid's not that good, and you keep telling them like, you're good, you're going to be okay. All you gotta do is keep trying, and they really don't have the talent. You've done nothing but handicap that kid. You've done nothing. Everybody who sugarcoated it, who coddled them, you've done nothing for that kid. Because when you start to go up in level, it's a dog-eat-dog world.
Absolutely.
And it ain't for the weak, it ain't for the faint. And if you think you got skills and you don't have it, everybody else who touched you before lied to you.
Yeah.
So
and
my
they're
thing
gonna
is
tell you to your face.
they won't.
Oh, absolutely.
So just to give you guys a little bit of background, my daughter started playing basketball at the end of her 8th grade year because her friends were playing, and she went into her 9th grade season. So it's almost like 3 months before she got into high school. That's all she had, 3 months worth of basketball.
Right.
So because she was so big, they gave her an opportunity to play varsity. And she cried because on her first day of practice, she wasn't that good. And I told her, yeah, baby, you suck. You do. But my thing was, you suck, but you don't have to say sorry. So we're gonna work. You suck, but you don't have to stay sorry.
Absolutely.
So it was more direct.
So basically saying you suck right now.
Yeah.
And you get
but
better.
it won't last forever.
Yeah, it won't last forever because a lot of kids don't put in the hard work.
But it's the way you deliver it. If you say you suck, then be like, oh dang, I do it. But if you say you suck right now, like that right now at the end will change.
But
I think, in my opinion.
But what's interesting about that is your daughter can take that, right?
Yeah.
If I said that to my son, he would crush.
Yeah.
Because again, we're talking about it's just different.
It's different people.
And it's not even that he can't take it. It's just who's delivering it to him.
Yeah.
And as a mommy, you know, first I'm mommy, you know, then anything else after that is extra.
Yeah.
So he, you know, he doesn't take that type of criticism from me so well. So I do have to be a little more gentle. But I do give him harsh realities and lessons, but I am a little more gentle with my delivery because at the end of the day, there's a relationship that it's love and it's affection and that's us.
But see, I think the beautiful thing is the two different dynamics of one kid versus the other. And then here's the thing also. She cried a lot. And we had to work out, I'm coach, and when I'm coach, I'm coaching you hard. And when I'm dad, and we off the court, it's daddy, come here, give me a hug, baby, I got you. Right. So she understands the two now, but her first season, bouncing from JV to varsity, like she never played freshman, it was a JV or varsity. Oh, half the time with JV and then half the time with varsity. And you know, she had a hard time with that, and then especially when playing time was minimal, it was just something to deal with.
We all played freshman.
So, you know, you got to give her, he didn't. That's another story. But yeah, you got to like do like the best of both worlds, which is trying to communicate. Wow.
Did you actually play?
Wow.
Oh, there you go. Back up to the waterman. Let's go. But anyway, back to your daughter that never had to play freshman.
Hater.
Yeah. I mean,
we get haters on the show sometimes.
Your son's not going to play freshman either, so what are we talking
No, he's not going to play freshman. Sure.
No.
So,
he shouldn't even play JV. He's varsity material.
But then that's you know, just, it worked for her. It works for her the way I deliver it because at the end of the day, she knows where I'm coming from as far as I love her to death. I told her I'll die for you. I might kill somebody in the gym for you right now.
Okay, hold on.
But at the end of the day,
cut that part out.
At the end of the day, you know, we're gonna work with you and get you better. Hey, it's been a couple times.
Well now.
Hey, go get your bag. Wait, I'm gonna go to my car.
I'll be right back.
Get my gun. Shoot everybody.
You just gotta make one phone call and y'all just leave.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful thing. So I think that just as a coach, and then just anybody who's involved, who's coaching kids or training, you can't treat every kid the exact same way.
Correct.
You can love them the same and have compassion, have goals for them all the same, but the way you deliver stuff, sometimes you gotta be smart to deliver it different. So.
So piggybacking on like a little bit of that is I can't train my son. And the reason I can't train my son is because we don't separate the relationship because it doesn't work for us. So when he hears my voice, he just hears my voice, but he's not actually, it's not penetrating. And the thing is, we can have good conversations off the court, no problem. Hey, Pop, try this, do this, you know, look at this. And he'll get on the court and he'll try it and he'll do it. But the feedback while he's on there, like if I'm saying, hey, adjust your shot, or hey, more finesse, off the fingertips, little stuff like that, while he's not doing well, he doesn't want to hear my voice.
It's the source that it's coming from.
Correct. And so I realized that very, very young for him, and that's why I got him trainers. That's why I got other people. And I would give the trainer feedback like, hey, this is what we're working on, and whatever, because I know him and I know his dynamic of his body, and they were able to identify their own things as well. But you were saying the same thing and whatever, but it was being delivered from somebody else, and it worked. Exactly. So I had to again back up, take my role as, and it's okay, you know, here you're knowledgeable, and I trust you with my son. And these are the things that you're going to say the same things because we're trying to get the same results, but somebody else had to deliver it. So
that's kind of thing
that works for us.
I think I might have a problem with that when I have my kids, because I deal with that with my wife. I say, hey, let's go work out. Right. If you work out, I'll work her out. What I say to her, she just hears her husband.
Yeah, kind of nagging at her.
Another trainer tells her, it's like, let's go. So it's the source it's coming from. So when we have our kids, I'm gonna be like trying to train them. All they're gonna hear is dad. But they probably have somebody else tell them the same thing.
Early stages, it does work. It's when they start to break off to say, I got it. Like back up a little bit, because then you kind of become the smother or the hover dad or whatever, and it doesn't always work.
That sounds like a scary day.
Hover dad.
It sounds like a scary day.
You know, you're the helicopter that's just hovering over. Because I mean, I have a daughter as well, and you know, she's tried every sport, and I'm just so thrilled that like she's opened my eyes completely, because she's like made me a soccer mom, and then she made me a volleyball mom, and I was like, whoa, I don't even know the rules, and yet she's not really a sports lover, but she does it just for the workout and for fun. So, you know, I mean, I wouldn't be able to coach her either, because they just kind of give the side eye, just mom, just cheer and please be quiet. So
I had an off-camera conversation with you about my daughter, and she's so simple, and she looks to me for everything. Like, tell me this, Dad, tell me that.
Right.
So I'll give you an example. One time in the game, she was coming up the bench. This was her sophomore year, so she's varsity girls coming up the bench, and we're at an away game, and I'm looking at the way that the defense is playing against the offense that we have. We run a 4-out winning offense. So before I sub her in, I'm like, hey, as soon as you catch the ball, inside, rip through, one dribble to the cup is going to be an easy bucket. Sub her in, same exact move. She calls for the ball, get it, pow, inside, rip, ring, layup, and she's like, I'm like, go ahead.
Right.
That's right. Bow!
Cut the camera.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He said ring.
Somebody about to die today. Elbow, ring. But, you know, she looks to me for feedback like that. So it's always
3 things you can't get.
Wow. Tell us.
Oh,
no.
Wow.
Yeah, can you tell me another one? Tell me another one.
Where your grandmother live?
Brooklyn, why?
Because I'm going to go. Stay on task.
Yes, I'll
Cracker? Birds?
What's kind of black?
Oh,
shoot. All right. It's way too hot.
So I'm going to tell you guys a story. So one time my grandma, you know, after she
He's
met
been
my
alive
wife,
for 100 years, so he got hella stories.
Yeah, she had something that wasn't pretty nice to say.
Oh,
and you know, I told her, I said it wasn't acceptable. You know, what did she say? She said, well, I just love a cute little nappy.
All right, listen. Bring it back.
Oh,
Bring
sure.
it back.
All right, she ripped through.
Rip through. Easy one. Easy one.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. And then she like that. Had one of her best games.
See, your daughter takes your voice as the coach and the dad.
Correct.
Her son takes
That's
her
mama.
voice
It's
as the mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what
We
so
can-
everybody's
So
different.
it's,
Right.
Yeah, it's a
But
beautiful thing.
sometimes a coach can say something to a kid and he doesn't respond. But the parents can say something and
they
then
got it.
it just
Yeah.
depends on the kid.
Yeah.
And I feel like my son can, it's just all in timing. And we
Yeah.
had to learn that about each other, you know, because he's taught me a lot about like, not right now, or yeah, in a minute, and I had to learn to be patient and understanding, and I didn't want to be. I'm the mom. I'm gonna tell you what right now, and you know, like that's not fair. And we remember, I mean, all of us can say those hard games where you were like, you may have looked great to everybody else, but in your head you were like, I could have made this more layups. I could have done better here. So he's already walking off the court programming those things, and then me on top of that, like it's unnecessary. So he's already doing his own fixing at this point, and I've realized that because sometimes I even see him in a game, the wheels are turning. He's like, okay, what I got to do to now break this defense, like we're talking about, but on his own, because it's like, I've worked on this, I know what this looks like. What am I doing? I'm not awake right now. So he's doing his own, you know, self checks and his own, you know, if I get back on D, what does that look like? Or now I'm not making shots, so I need to get back and get some putbacks. Or so he's doing it himself. Like I don't need to do that. Now it's just like, I love you and I support you.
Yeah.
And you know, I had to learn that. Now he's 15. He's been well, you know, off and doing well since like 12-ish. So I had to, you know, even with the cheering, sometimes it becomes too much because then the boys on the court are literally like, oh, that's your mom? All right. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, what you gonna, you know, and it gets weird. So there's just pullbacks everywhere and a balance of like criticism, when to give it, how to give it, and what kid, you know, like there's so many elements. And it's not always the same. Yeah. Sometimes he's like, hey, mom, I need you. Like talk to me right now. I need reassurance that I'm a good ball player. And then there's sometimes like, I know I got this, mom, just you know. So we got to be understanding with our children, and they teach us way more than we can ever teach them. All the time. And I mean, just the way that they're going to be 10 times better than us. You know what I mean? And they already are exceeding those things. Yeah, for sure. Already. So now it's just kind of, now we can actually celebrate, and we got to focus more on that part of things. Even, I mean, whatever it is. Another thing from the camp, This camp was absolutely amazing, and if we ever
listen, hey, we gonna go.
Just get in there.
I was like,
what'd you find? You're stealing?
Like, how does pee get in there? It popped up. Sorry.
This is the Dominique show.
We gonna keep this going.
Act like they not here. Okay.
No edits.
No cuts.
You better not edit.
I'm about to tell the story.
I'm not. We
Dang.
go straight through, dog. We go straight through.
Real quick.
Tell the story.
I got the story.
Oh, no.
Tell it.
You cut me off. Literally.
Wait, you talking?
You literally cut me off right here. I had a mask on. He only had eyes out. Golly.
Tell the story. Let it tell the story.
Is the sound on? Is the sound? Is green in there?
I hope
Don't play with me.
You about to get the sweat marks under.
Man, I'm back already.
I don't know.
Look at my back.
All right, listen.
All right.
Look, if we ever get the privilege and honor to be a part of something special like creating a camp, because we know tons of people and we could be a part of something like that. Even if it's as simple as like a nonprofit and we get some kids together. There are some really cool things that I've learned from this camp, and it was like just a regular weekend camp. It's not regular, it was big time. It was CP3 camp. He, by the way, made top 20. Let's go.
Who's CP3?
He doesn't play basketball in real life. It was a Chris
I know who
Paul.
it was. I just want to see your reaction.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a Chris Paul camp.
It was in Anaheim, right?
Correct.
At the MAP or?
No, it wasn't. Actually, it was at Get It Done in Corona. But
really?
Yeah. So they moved one to us.
But yeah, but I said he usually does it in Anaheim.
Correct.
Yeah.
But remember, they cut down some of it. Remember, my son was telling you. Or was he telling you? Yeah, they didn't open everything back up. Okay, so anyway, this is the same camp that I talked about earlier in the segment. Is that they taught us like on Mother's Day, like, or you know, whatever. It's like, ask your kids for approval to give them feedback. What does that look like? And if they say no, how do we respond? Or whatever. So they actually had all the kids, because you know they get all the kids together if you've been at a camp or at least watched one, whatever. They get all the kids and they do like a special speaker or an introduction. This is the expectations, whatever. So what they said was, and it kind of like broke my heart, like so many kids raised their hand and they asked, you know, how many kids have played basketball games and felt they disappointed their parents because of how they played? I would say 98% of the kids put their hands up. If it was 100 kids, 99 put their hands up, and the other one probably just didn't even hear what the question was.
And I think most of them did that because probably when they're on the way home,
right?
The parents are like,
and instead of saying, "Hey, you did this and this and this right," it's only what you did wrong. And you know, because everybody else is celebrating your 25 points, so why do I need to tell you you did great on your 25 points? What I need to tell you is you didn't get back on defense, and you didn't rebound, and did you put a body on somebody? And you know are we doing putbacks? You missed a free throw, and it's like, you know. So when they said that, it really gave me like an aha moment. It's like, boy, I never want you to think that basketball ever disappoints me. Not like for you to get out there every day and work as hard as you. Like I'm already, you know, proud of you. Like just. You can do the bare minimum of whatever it is, but if that's the best you can do, I'm proud of you. And it's unfortunate that sometimes I guess that doesn't always come across, and I guess that comes from our feedback, but it was so interesting to see how many children thought through basketball, you know, in their performance that we weren't proud of them, or that we didn't think that they did a great job, or they disappointed us. Like that word is just so like, dang, like you're beating yourself up.
I was going to say that same thing. A lot of times, I mean, you guys know it too, we absolutely want to do the best we can, right?
Right.
Regardless if your mom's there. My mom wasn't at none of my games.
Me either.
And I probably would have felt like I let her down.
She probably won't even watch this.
Yeah, she ain't watching it.
Lay on the couch.
Yeah, tell her about my mama.
We still love you.
Then my daddy. No.
Both of them went to go get milk.
I ain't see
they ain't been back.
But a lot of kids.
We're talking about people being proud.
No, a lot of kids put that on.
At least you didn't say what you was gonna say. Go ahead.
They put that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Carry on. I know.
They were in my game. That's why I'm not saying anything. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, a lot of kids put their own level of expectation. Like,
absolutely.
Because let's say we can use him and myself as an example.
Okay.
He had been playing prior to me even thinking about dribbling the basketball, so I can see his level of success and want that, and if I don't get it, I'm thinking I'm letting my parents down because he's starting and he's good, and I'm not even doing that.
Right.
And the problem with that is comparing.
When
people start comparing anything, that's when.
But you say comparing is good.
Comparing is good. If there was.
But you say it's not.
I say comparing
to a certain level, because okay, let's say somebody's doing something now, and I'm comparing like, dang, I wish.
Right.
I had what they had. That's.
But not willing to do the work.
But having what they have.
But comparing is like, okay, he's a doctor, so. I wanna get on his level.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
That's good because in the same field.
Because if you're wishing like, damn, I wish I was them and this and that, but then you're just sulking, that's bad.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, comparison in the I guess perspective of
bettering.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's always healthy.
Absolutely.
Until it becomes unhealthy.
Right, right, and there is a thin line because then I mean with social media with the children, man, I had to tell my son plenty of times. I said, hey, you know that's an illusion. You know that's a mirage, and he's like, what's a mirage? You know, young, and he's watching these films of these kids going to camps and they're balling and I'm like,
but
let me tell you something, kid.
Yeah, it's the
they're not seeing, they're not seeing the shots missed. They're not seeing the stats. They're not seeing that the kids are messing up.
Right.
Some kids don't even hardly play. They just went in and got those shots up and they put the highlight tape together.
Right.
And those are over maybe like 5 games.
We all know the game. We know the game, bro.
But our kids don't always. They're only seeing the popularity. And they're seeing these highlights. So until we went to Drew games and other, even like a lot of the players do open runs, and I won't put anybody on blast, but they do open runs and all that kind of stuff where he was training, and he's like, bro,
he's not that good.
He's not that good.
Exactly.
Like you're not M1. You're not Harlem Globetrotters. Like where we grew up, where it was actually like fun talent and raw talent. It wasn't that. Now they're really just putting dynamics and putting it all together and making it look good.
Exactly. And when the kids actually go and play, they're like, oh, this is the same kid we see on the internet.
Absolutely. So I mean, even coaches are being, a wool over their eyes because you're not getting that, and people are, a lot of lying about height and a lot of skill levels. It's so bad, and so. With that being said, I had to then kind of break them down a little bit, and I'm like, sir, it's a mirage, so it looks pretty to the eyes, but it's not real, and you gotta be more aware of how that works. You can outplay them, you can outball. It's again up to
any player can play with them. Almost any player. There's only there's certain elite players that we've seen that are like super up there.
Correct.
But other than that, when you get to that same age level, if you've been playing for a long time, you can play. You probably can't score like him, but I can defend him.
Absolutely.
Or he can't defend me, but I can score on him.
Yeah.
So it's that.
Yeah.
Like there's some players when I went to the pro level, and I'm like, dude, this dude is fast.
Yeah.
Right? No defense.
Yeah.
So I got him on that.
Yeah.
But then he's kicking my butt on when I'm like on offense.
Right.
So he'll probably have 30, and I'll have like 20.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's a good scorer, but his defense sucks.
Yeah. So you were able to still kind of one up and figure it out.
Rebounds, assists,
absolutely.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just being aware of those things. But I'm telling you, social media has really messed up a lot of things.
Yeah.
It doesn't always also make people come out and watch anymore. Because why? You need to watch if you could just, so that live contact and really getting the energy of a child. That is he coachable? Is he likable?
You don't see all that.
Like you don't get to see that. But then when you go to see this kid and he's like talking back to the refs or talking back to parents or whatever, like that's nasty.
Yeah.
And you don't want that on a college floor. But then when you get a kid and he's genuine, he's talking to the refs and he's just a good kid, you miss out on those things.
Yeah.
So, I feel like it's a responsibility too for coaches and people to really come out and see what it's about.
Yeah.
And not just base it off of that.
It's a responsibility of the parents to make sure that kid is a good person.
Absolutely.
Because you can't just have like, okay, my kid plays basketball, this and that. But if he's not a good person, this and that.
Character plays a big part.
When you get older, you're going to see what type of player you are, because people that's played with you and seen you, they're going to tell you what kind of player you were.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people like, you could be the greatest ever, right?
But
perfect example, MJ. Now everything's starting to come out that he's probably one of the greatest players ever that we've seen.
Yeah.
And people are like, I didn't like playing with him.
Yeah.
I hated playing with him. Like, for me, I never wanted to be that player. There's probably maybe one, if that, can say, I never liked playing with Jeremiah. Ever. So we got to teach our kids that. we got to teach our kids that you got to be a good person.
Absolutely.
On and off the court. Or if anything, off the court, you could be an a-hole on the court, but off the court, you can be a genuine person.
But it's your alter ego, it's a way of kind of getting that out. But there's still a way of doing it with class. When the game ends, the game's over. Are you slapping hands? Are you giving love to other people? Like, hey, you balled out. In the game, you can't do that. You do got to show that dog and that lion. But at the end of the game, it's over. Hey, we're gonna see you next time. Like people are and then that's another thing. There are people that are watching those things, and I tell my son every time he gets on that court. And I even tell my daughter, just in real life, there's always somebody watching.
Always.
So you're not just an example of who you represent, but also like who's teaching you. My mother is a good mother because of this. My father's a good father because of this. Like there's a character there, you know. My son, one thing I really do admire about him is he's very coachable, super coachable. I mean, his eyes are just big and he's ready. Okay, I'll try it. If you tell him to move right now, he'll say, okay, I'm gonna try it. Oh, hey, that don't work for me, J-Word. Like, you got something else for me? Because that just doesn't work for me. But I'll try it because, I mean, you're telling me something and I'm gaining knowledge. I'm cool with gems. I'm cool with receiving that because he wants to be better and he's eager to be better. I'm excited to be better. And if you can give me something that's gonna make me better, I'm down. And I'll try it, but it might not work for me. And if it does, cool, I'm gonna add it to my book.
All right, y'all, so thank you for joining us. Hopefully we provided some great insight. You were with Jay Will and
Jay Ward.
And Dominique. Don't forget to follow my son.
Don't forget to follow
Ace Class 21 on Instagram.
It's on it's on the screen. He's on Twitter. He's on Instagram.
Be on the lookout for part 2 of this conversation.
Oh man.
Last thoughts?
I gotta go again.
Last thoughts?
You know, I think these things are necessary to have these conversations.
Oh,
so
I said these things and you point right here.
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
I think this is necessary.
Hey y'all, love God and be great.
Like and subscribe.
Like and
subscribe.
Now you can hear a voice on the back.
That's okay. Get it
Love
right.
everyone.
Love and peace. Oh, Lord.
Wow.
It could have been anywhere in the world.
He did?
He did it.
Man, you're supposed to let me know.
No, he wasn't. Bye.